Good morning. My name is Amy Self, and I serve as your worship leader this morning. One thing I love about this congregation is our inspiring music that not only is beautiful, but inspires people to make changes in the world. Several years ago, I started an organization called Sing the World Green that combines music with environmental education. And there were several points that led to me starting that, and one of them was a song sung here on an Earth Day, at an Earth Day service many years ago. Many of you may remember Virginia. I don't remember her last name. She was with a guy named Justin. And she stood up here and she sang this song. And it was from the perspective of the earth. And the chorus was, please. The earth's just singing, please, like, please help me. And I was bawling. And I went home and I built my Sing the World Green website and started doing summer camps. And my first summer camp was actually here. So it was one of the points of entry to that was a song here. So don't ever underestimate the value of music to change the world. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder. I want to take a moment to extend a very warm welcome to everyone who's visiting us for the first time. If you're joining us online, please fill out a visitor form in the link in the description. We would love to connect with you. Many of us were once seeking for something larger than ourselves to which we could belong, a sense of rootedness to hold us as we create meaning together. Oops. We do that well here, though not perfectly. In this congregation, we strive not for perfection, but for authenticity and connection. Whether it's your first time in worship or your 100th time, we hope you'll find here questions that stretch you, people to befriend you, religious values that challenge you to join us in living boldly, living justly, and welcoming radically. We are delighted to welcome back Amanda Williams. For many years, she was our pianist here at UUCB, and now she's a nurse at Boulder Community Hospital. After this Earth Day service, our Climate Action Ministry is glad to invite you to a vegetarian lunch in the Sky Room. I hope you'll stay for good food, good company, and practical ways to reduce meat consumption and lessen your carbon footprint. Pauses? Okay. We begin by lighting our chalice, a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. It is a cup of life, sustenance to quench our spirit's thirst, a cup of celebration and resolve, a flame of hope, and a light of warmth to guide us home. Instead of one person sharing words and lighting our chalice today, we're going to do this all together. So here's how it works. Find a person next to you. You'll each have 1 minute to answer the questions that I'm going to pose. So start thinking. 1 minute to practice sustained, compassionate attention. Folks online, if you'd like to post in the chat, it is not saved, so whatever you write will only be visible during the service. So the first question, what brought you here this morning? I'm going to go grab my timer. Sorry. Okay, so here's what you do. I'm going to put the timer on. You turn to a person and you share for 1 minute. If you finish early, you can't change until I ring the bell. So that gives the person, I'm serious here, that gives the person a container to, if you say something, I came here to hear the choir, whatever, and then there's silence, you just let them be in that silence and then see what arises, and you listen. So don't be tempted to switch early. Wait until the bell rings. Am I being too pedantic? So your first question is, what brought you here this morning? You may begin. Okay, now you may switch to the second person and answer the same question. The second person answers the same question. What brought you here this morning? Okay. There's one more question. And it will be the same format where you have your partner. Sorry. Stop. And the second question is, what are you hopeful for in the future? Same thing, 1 minute, and I'll ring the bell and let you know when to switch. You may begin. Okay, if you haven't switched, now's the time to switch. Hopefully you guys had some juicy conversations that can continue as we do coffee later. So in this spirit of connection, I light our chalice this morning. And
making community is one of the things that I love best, making the space where that can happen. That's what you were just doing, in part. Whether the person next to you is like your longtime spouse or someone you've never met and may never see again after this morning, just for this moment, that is community and connection, and we carry that feeling forward into silence and singing together. Several times each year, we have the joy of welcoming new members into this community, and I'm glad to be joined in this moment by our membership coordinator, Irene. Each time a new member joins the community, it changes them and it changes the community itself. Being a part of is not the work of assimilation. We're not a melting pot church where the goal is that everyone sort of blends away individuality into this gruel. We are a potluck church, literally and figuratively. I'm going to dwell on the figurative for a minute, because each of you brings something of yourself and spreads it out and offers it to each other, and not everyone wants all the things. When you're at a potluck, you're not obliged to take every bit of what is on offer. You put together your piece, your combination, your little community within the larger community. To recognize and welcome new members is to remake the church. And what we are here to do is the mundane and holy work of making a life. We gather to weep together and laugh together, to sing together and sit in silence together, to serve on committees and bring food for potlucks, and to mourn our dead and bless our children and break our hearts open to the world. We are here to do the holy and mundane work of making a life in community.
May I invite our new members to come forward now, please, and join us just right up here. All right, so before I go on, I just want to briefly introduce everyone who is up here with me. So I'll start my right to your left. We've got Paul Smith and Emily Smith. We've got Renee Yanowski, and Susan Collins, Paula Staffeld, Ginger Ellison, Tom Ellison, and Liz Cleveland. Friends, we welcome you this morning as we affirm in ceremony what you have already made real in your individual lives, which is your commitment to this congregation and the liberal faith. Outwardly, what you have done is simple, just to sign your name. But you come to this step by many paths. For some of you, it was easy. You found a group and united with it. For others, the road was long, and your commitment came at the end of a pilgrimage. To become a member is to pledge yourself to the common good of this church. You are not just a consumer, but a co-creator. To be a member means to welcome the next people coming through our doors. Each new member who joins our church brings gifts and needs, questions and answers. We welcome each of you for the unique contributions you have to make to our congregation, and for the unrealized potential within us that you will help bring forth. We are the stewards holding this church in trust for the generations that will succeed us. And so now we have some gifts give our new members. We give you these books, Food for the Mind. We give you the care and community of all those here, room for the heart and soul to grow. We give you these roses, brought forth from the earth as a token of your lifelong spiritual unfolding. May this be a house that holds the fullness of your life, body and mind, heart and soul.
Congregation, you know very well that belonging and connection is not something that comes from the front of the room. It comes from all of us together. In that spirit, will you welcome our new members with joy and affirm them and pledge to support them? Will you work to know them and allow yourself to be known by them? Will you commit to being one people, both unique and united? If so, please give an enthusiastic yes.
Yes! And new members, will you accept the gifts and responsibilities of membership and the covenant of love, respect, and service? Will you pledge to support our congregation and the association of which it is a part, as we are able, with our hearts and hands, our talents and treasure? If so, please give an enthusiastic yes.
Yes.
Officially welcome.
We are a promise-making, a promise-breaking, and a promise-remaking people. And we are not called to be perfect in all of that, but to be faithful to the commitments we make. In that spirit, each week we speak our covenant aloud all together, this reminder of the promises that we make that we will not live up to perfectly, and that's okay. That's why we do it each week, not just once. It's a reminder of the promises that we make. And so in person and online, I invite you to join as one to say our covenant, and then remain standing. We'll continue in song afterwards. We gather in fellowship to speak truth to each other, to reach out and touch one another, to care with each other, and to seek the truth divine. So be it.
Oh, one moment. We have an equipment malfunction. All right. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The earth is holy, and so are we. The earth is holy, and so are we. The earth is holy, and so are we.
got my slides out of order, so I'm going to say a few opening words first. This is not just an intentional callback to the not being perfect part. Let me say a few words about this service, though. A few months back, when spring was still far off, it still feels a little far off, I sat down with Reverend Kelly Dignan, our former minister, now co-director of the UU Ministry for the Earth. She'll be here preaching next week. And I sat down also with Ron Ferris, who serves our congregation down in Colorado Springs, Eric Banner, minister at First Universalist in Denver, and we said to each other across these Zoom screens that this Earth Day, it's not enough just to sort of remind ourselves of the dire state of things, which is real and dire. But that's too easy to get overwhelmed, to despair, if that's the only thing. And it's not enough, we said to each other this Earth Day, just to talk about practical action to take, which matters, like our veggie lunch, reminding the impact of eliminating one serving of meat a week. Those things are important to know and to do, head and hands. But at the center, connecting both of them, uniting both of those things, behind them both, the meaning, the point, the purpose of this is not about this moment that we're in, but about a future. We're doing this hard work of facing the reality of climate catastrophe and doing something about it because we believe in the future. We believe that we can shape it, that it's real, that it can be beautiful. And so today, churches all along the Front Range are beginning their worships with these words from the Ecologist Baba Dioum, who writes, "In the end, we will conserve only what we love, and we will love only what we understand, and we will understand only what we are taught." We gather today to celebrate Earth Day, to celebrate it, and acknowledge our deep love for the earth, our love and our passionate desire that this place thrives. As we move towards this world that we dream and hope for, anger at the present state of things alone won't be enough to get there. And despair for the road ahead, which you feel or will or have, that by itself won't transform the world. And resentment at our own individual powerlessness is real, and that by itself will flicker and fade out in the darkness. Even optimism isn't enough. Hope's unrealized, sour to despair. Only love is strong enough to carry us all the way into the future. Only a profound falling in love with the world that we dream of is going to give the energy, the power, the resilience, the joy that we need, along with all of the rest of it, to make the work of building the future into the work of a whole life. Will you join me in a spirit of prayer and meditation? It's a heart-opening moment. It's a reconnect. I felt this in the singing. I don't know how to describe it, but I felt in that singing, for me, what I needed, myself melting a little bit. I think that's what the invitation to prayer and meditation is, too. These words by Aisha Siddiqa called "On Another Panel About Climate," they ask me to sell the future, and all I've got is a love poem. Listen, she says, listen. What if the future is soft and revolution is so kind that there is no end to us in sight? Whole cities breathe, and bad luck is bested by a promise to the leaves. To withstand your own end is difficult. The future frolics about, promised to no one, as is her right. Rage against injustice makes the voice grow harsher yet. If the future leaves without us, the silence that will follow will be an unspeakable nothing. What if we convince her to stay? How rare and beautiful it is that we exist. What if we stun existence one more time? What if I wake up, get out of bed, my 7-year-old cousin with her ruptured belly tags along, then follows my grandmother, aunts, and my cousins, and the violent shape of their drinking water. The earth remembers everything. Our bodies are the colors of the earth, and we are nobodies. Been born from so many apocalypses, what's one more? Love is still the only revenge. It grows each time the earth is set on fire, but for what it's worth, I'd do this again. Gamble on humanity 100 times over. Commit to life unto life. As the trees fall and take them with us, I'd follow love into extinction. And be together in silence for a few moments. Amen. None of us are alone, but it often doesn't feel that way moving through the world. Part of what we do in gathering is to remind ourselves of that reality, that there's this thread that weaves invisibly through the whole community, this fiber of compassion that weaves through every broken heart, which is all of us, no matter how well guarded we are. It's the filament of compassion that comes from knowing and holding and transforming suffering, and it ties us together. Each week in the service, we set aside this time in ritual to make that visible, this unseen interconnection, this landscape of our hopes and concerns. And so in a moment when the music starts, I'll invite you gathered in person, come forward, starting with the back, the side, before the front. And as you come forward, let your thinking slow down. Find some space along the way to get a good deep sigh in. And take a stone in token of whatever is on your heart, all of it, and place it in the earth, surrounded by community, connected by the concern we carry. This morning we hold in love Barb and Fred, who say, our beloved and exasperating cat Olive died last Sunday afternoon. She would have been 15 this summer, and now it is really quiet. For all our joys and sadnesses, we hold this space in love and solidarity. Please come forward as you feel moved.
So this song came to me around Earth Day 1990, and they had some, Earth Day 1990, they had some TV sitcom stars doing skits about the environment, and one of them asked the question, if we don't take care of Mother Earth, if we let it like go down the tubes, what are we gonna tell our children's children? We had better things to do, so maybe there's something else we can do. But this is called What Will We Tell Our Children's Children? Oh my goodness, the words are up on the screen. That's a first. So, what will we tell our children's children? Will we say we had better things to do? Or will we say we rose to the cause to save our Mother Earth? Yeah, face the awesome task and show it through. Chorus, try it now. What will we tell our children's children? Good. Will we say we had better things to do? Or will we say we rose to the cause to save our Mother Earth? Face the awesome task and saw it through. Times are changing all around, changing mighty fast. There's a hole out in the ozone, and the fossil fuel can't last. With the old growth forest stripped away, rainforests turned to dust. Precious gifts and treasures in a landfill gathering rust. Chorus now. What will we tell our children's children? Will we say we had better things to do? Or will we say we rose to the cause to save our Mother Earth? Face the awesome task and saw it through. The tides are rising higher as the glaciers melt away. Greenhouse gases stifling, getting higher every day. The kids protesting in the streets, taking up the fight. Stand up and raise our voices, we've got to get this right. Chorus now. What will we tell our children's children? Will we say we had better things to do? Or will we say we rose to the cause to save our Mother Earth? Face the awesome task and saw it through. There's hope still in a mother's heart by the planet's courage men. There's life still in the ocean. There's a power in the wind. If you feel your heart stirring for this planet Earth our own, take heart and give it all you got. I swear you're not alone. Chorus. What will we tell our children's children? Will we say we had better things to do? Or will we say we rose to the cause to save our Mother Earth? Face the awesome task and saw it through. Chorus last time, everybody. What will we tell our children's children? Will we say fast and start through. Thank you, Chancel Katz.
A friend and colleague, the Reverend Adam Robersmith, writes about the need to avoid despair in environmental justice work. And he does this turning back to the mid-19th century universalist, Hosea Ballou, who taught that we should not make change. This is what the universalists said in the 19th century. Don't make change. Don't make the world a better place. Don't do right because of the fear of some hellish future, lest we link acting faithfully to fear rather than to love. Our faith calls us to make change. Our values call us to make change because it is the right and loving thing to do now. And we feel that fear also. But that's not the fuel. Only a profound falling in love with the world is going to give the energy, the power, resilience, joy to make that our work. For this Earth Day, Unitarian Universalist ministers along the Front Range wrote love letters to the future. And I share a few of these today, including my own. We asked each other, what do you want to tell the generations ahead? What is the future that you have fallen in love with? What do you want to remind yourself? These are all of our questions. What do you want to remind yourself in this year to come about your deep love for the earth? Eric Banner at First Universalist Denver writes this, addressed to the beloved prairie home. Beloved prairie home. I write to you the future from this far remove of time, and yet my soul delights to see your loveliness unfolding. I long to wander your river valleys, wetting my toes in sandy streams that flow from mountains far away and off to oceans I'll never see. I long to see your river running smooth and steady over and around the gravel bars where grebes and coots wander, herons rise from the shallow water, and children gather the left-behind remainders of hickory nuts and black sand shells now returned, shining in the sun. Your water flows between my knees while sturgeons swim calmly by, and Neosho Mad Toms and Topeka Shiners dart in and out of the side channels, fed by the springs that flow once more. There along the banks rise cottonwoods of every age, the young ones just now rising, still green from this year's growth. And there, the great old trees that spread their shade, underneath which grow the walnut, oak, and hickory, standing strong against the wind, waiting to be harvested with care, making room for others to grow anew. Beloved prairie home, I long to be held in the curves of your rolling hills, while blue stem rise high above my head, swaying in the breeze that smells faintly of new-cut fields, promising rich mouthfuls for the family of life, my children's lives, their children's lives. Here the white-tailed deer, bounding off into the distance. There, the bison that wander through this time of year. And then to climb to the highest places, looking off into the distance, where windmills harvest the power of possibility, gently spinning, all day long while hawks ride currents invisible to our eyes. From this vision of you, there is no escape for me. Your voice sounds gently in my ears. Your touch lingers on my arm. Your form fills all that is, and I'm grateful for it. It calls me on again and again until we make it real once more, until the day comes, my beloved prairie home. Until that day comes, I hold you in my heart, my hands, and in the fullness of my days. Kelly Dignan writes this, a love letter to her city. Imagining it far in the future, she writes this, Dear Denver, I am the 4th generation of my family to be raised in your embrace. And now, 3 more generations have been born, making 7 of us. I am awash with gratitude for the deep roots that bind my family and you. As always before, the bright Colorado sun bathes your streets, and snow blankets the mountain peaks in your skyline. Blue spruce and bristlecone pines stand tall, whispering tales of resilience. Dear Denver, now, in this far future, not in times gone by, now, not like in times gone by, I adore the sight of community solar panels on rooftops, casting their benevolent glow. A lush tapestry of community gardens make a blend of cityscape and urban agriculture where hands join in harmony to nurture the soil and cultivate sustenance for all who hunger. The Platte River, the Cherry Creek are clean waters now, weaving tales of resilience, renewal. Dear Denver, because the refinery has been removed and replaced with affordable housing, clean air fills all lungs. Air carries also the joyful hum of bees and the flutter of butterflies. Milkweed and purple poppy mallow, coneflower and sunflower, dotted blazing star, all stand unwavering, a beacon, reminding us of this delicate balance we share. Goldenrod and asters paint your streets in hues of hope, right along with painted art wall murals that remind us of our creative power. The beating heart of your neighborhoods fills me with boundless love. Each street pulsates with rhythm, compassion, camaraderie, neighbors side by side, ready to lend a hand in times of need. In you, Denver, I find solace and inspiration. You are a sanctuary where the beauty of nature and spirit converge in community, in perfect harmony, with ever-deepening love. I'll share one more. This is my love letter to a hoped-for future world. I'm driving my children to school in the brilliant light blue of winter, and I'm thinking of you. Looking up to the mountains, quiet and clear and clean, still I feel close to you. You are the highest summit on the horizon of time, and we will never meet in person, and I love you. Years ago, I had a young man's crush on you, the future, this unconfident desire that told me I could only earn you by being good enough and pure enough, perfect and blameless. And I think of that young crush on the future with chagrin and gentleness, too. I didn't know any better then about myself or you. This is a love letter where I only want to be honest, whole and broken, human. Hoped for future world, you are the lover who prefers humanness to a performance of perfection. I cannot convince myself that I am good enough for you by pretending to be uncomplicated or unharmed or unafraid. There is no way to love the future except to love myself enough to face the hurt that I've done to you and to work for repair. You are my hoped-for future world. You're in my heart every day, and I will not live to see you. And I don't expect you to read these words, but it matters to write them. It matters to tell you that I love you. It changes me. Every day I see things I want to tell you about, that I want you to be proud of, that I want you to know. I wonder what you would think of this bright blue sky, or of the mountains still with snow, or of this spread out suburb and my daily drive. When my children's children meet you, I hope they do it honestly. I hope they tell you the whole story of who we were now, of what we tried to do and what we couldn't, of how we loved you and knew we'd never meet, but lived into loving you all the same. And I trust down the centuries that you love us too, that you're waiting, patient, hopeful, gentle, across every distance. Let's continue in song together.
Below me I feel no motion, standing
That's another song that I find very inspiring to help the planet. This month, our offering goes to SPAN, Safe House Progressive Alliance for Nonviolence. SPAN began providing services in 1979 and is crucial to the network of support that offers critical safety net services to vulnerable, low-income, and at-risk populations. It is the only organization serving Boulder, West Broomfield, smaller towns, and unincorporated Boulder County designed to provide shelter and advocacy for victims of domestic violence. I invite you to give as generously as you are able. For those online, you can use the QR code or find a link in the video description. For those gathered in person, you can scan the QR code or make a donation as the plates are being passed. May our gifts be used to enact justice, bringing peace and love to the Boulder community.
What is it you will write in your love letter to the future? Love, says the poet, love is still the only revenge. It grows each time the earth is set on fire. But for what it's worth, I'd do this again. Gamble on humanity 100 times over. Commit to life. Commit to life. Amen. You rise in body or spirit. Let's close together and then go have some lunch together.